Hey and welcome, I'm Hammeh, and today we'll be taking a look at Overwatch's 7th digital comic, Legacy, in which we see Ana Amari, the recently announced new Overwatch playable hero, on a hostage rescue mission to liberate scientists from the clutches of the Talon terrorists. When the operation goes south, Ana is forced to confront a new foe, resulting in an unexpected reunion that has terrible consequences. We'll be taking a quick look through talking points and interesting bits of the comic, along with a little light speculation on what new Overwatch story and lore we may have learned from it too. Suffice to say, this contains spoilers. Link for comics in the description below if you haven't read it already. Firstly, we'll quickly summarise the comic. Ana is in position providing cover for an Overwatch team on a dangerous hostage rescue mission. We hear a lot about Ana's combat weariness and feelings about her Overwatch family, as well as seeing her expertise with her Kinemura rifle. After being introduced to other Overwatch team members, we're shown the mission's evac phase, where the team, led by Morrison, and Ana come under fire from a mysterious sniper who moves like lightning, according to Morrison's intel. After some Overwatch team members are killed, the team and hostages clear the area, only for Ana to stay behind, wanting to eliminate the threat who hurt her family. When a headshot shatters the enemy sniper's head armour, she's revealed to be Widowmaker, and in her confusion, Ana hesitates in taking her second shot against the former Amélie Lacroix. Widow's shot shatters Ana's scope, causing her to be left seriously wounded, and in the position we've seen her in her Origins trailer. Here's some of the interesting things I enjoyed from the comic. The first thing that struck me from the comic was that we get a lot more development of Ana's thoughts about combat and war. We've already seen in her origin trailer that she's willing to fight and die for her family, and that there's nothing more important than protecting the ones she loves, a lesson that she passed down to Pharah, her daughter. We see here, as we've also seen in her Origins trailer, that Ana bears a great burden and weight that she carries from the people that she's killed to keep everyone safe. A young rookie apparently looks up to the notches on Ana's rifle, but she sees them as reminders of kills that she didn't want to have to make. We've heard that Ana's always done what was asked of her. She won't use the sniper tactic of wounding targets to draw out more people, for example, because she sees her marks as other people's children, like Pharah, her daughter. Soldiers aren't targets anymore to Ana, but people who care for them too. She doesn't want to inflict suffering anymore. Ana really is a reluctant soldier in many ways, taking on the burden of killing so that others don't have to. Perhaps that's slightly flawed. It comes from a good place, but of course Ana can't take the whole world on her shoulders. From her bio, we know that Ana refused to step away from combat operations up until this moment, remaining on active duty well into her 50s, much like Morrison and also Reinhardt. It seems that years of combat are actually catching up with her. Now, some of her thoughts and symptoms could be seen to be combat stress reaction, some kind of combat fatigue. I'm no medic or soldier, but whatever the truth, it does seem that her weariness with fighting, combined with this very personal realisation of who her target is, lead to that split second where Ana couldn't do what she usually did just by reaction and instinct. As she says in the final panel, which is very telling, "I have no more in me." The second thing that was quite interesting was Ana's sheer combat proficiency. Now we see her taking down multiple targets. We also see it reinforced that she's known as one of the best snipers in the world, and we also get a little bit more detail on how she operates as well. Her cybernetic eye is mentioned. It gives her 6 times greater vision normally, and then her scope is in 100 times, giving her up to 600 times zoom. She actually even says that a lot of the time she doesn't even necessarily need that scope. We're introduced to a new brand in the Overwatch universe, Kaina or Kinemura. The Kinemura rifle fires 338 rounds, apparently a sniper round as seen in the Arctic Warfare Magnum or AWP to you CSGO fans, accurate to 2000 metres and with a bullet travelling at 980 metres a second. Now I'm no gun expert, but apparently that's quite a marked velocity for this kind of round. So if you know more, please let me know in the comments whether this is futuristic, near futuristic, or something that we might see in every day. I'm still trying to research a bit. It'd be great to hear your thoughts if you're experienced in that kind of thing. Ana's skill always seems to have been in not hesitating to take the shot when it needs to be taken. She mentions this several times. Even though Ana's carried her doubts, she still had this lethal instinct or ability to get the job done. But it seems from her discussion in this comic, Ana's been getting increasingly weary with this, and finally, sadly, at the end of the comic, this actually catches up with her. We also see Ana's proficiency when she takes a shot in wind that actually hits Widowmaker, what she actually calls maybe one of her finest shots ever. Ana's combat proficiency isn't limited to her shooting. We actually see her throwing herself around, ducking and diving, moving around very quickly, identifying targets and where Widowmaker might be sniping from quickly, as well as sending in drones to detonate the position and give Morrison and the squad time to move. In her mid-50s, Ana's definitely no slouch. She's clearly still got the athleticism and the tactical knowledge, as well as her sniping skills, to be a very valuable asset on this mission. Age is no barrier in the Overwatch universe for sure. The third thing I found kind of interesting was the reinforcement of Ana's thoughts and values about family. Now, obviously, we know her family, as we've seen in her Origins trailer. She's lost a lot of people close and dear to her. Ana in the Origins trailer said she's had to bury the people closest to her. Now, whether that's referring to Reyes and to Morrison, of course, missing, presumed dead to most people in the Overwatch universe, or indeed perhaps her husband. We don't know what's happened to him. However, one thing's for sure, Ana's squad are definitely her family. She's clearly seen as a mother to the organisation. She is of course Morrison's second in command, as we learned from her bio, and in fact so much so that her nickname is Mama Bear, as we see Singh calling her in this particular panel. The other thing we see in this panel is how Ana actually feels a great knowledge and has a great knowledge of the personal lives of her squad. She clearly feels a very strong connection to them. She knows all kinds of personal things about their lives and even stays behind to try and ensure that the mysterious sniper won't hurt any more members of, quote, her family, after several are actually sadly shot during the mission. Family is important to Ana, and it's clearly a value that she's passed to Pharah, which kind of makes all the more interesting Ana's decision actually not to reveal to Pharah until the letter that we see in the Origins trailer that she's actually still alive. Another thing that's kind of cool to see in this comic is that we actually see Overwatch in action deployed on a combat and rescue mission. Now, of course, it's very situational. It's probably but one of many things that Overwatch did, but it's interesting to see. Firstly, we see that Overwatch deploys with a sniper covering the entire operation in this urban context and sentry drones of some form, or recon drones. We also see Ana explode these when she flies them into Widowmaker's position to allow the squad time to move. So we've got to assume they've got some kind of remote control, whether they're controlled by Ana or somebody else. We know that they're operating against Talon, who seem to have either taken hostages or captured or trapped some scientists who apparently, according to Morrison, have knowledge of a project that can't fall into Talon hands, which is interesting to see what that would be. We seem to have an 8-person squad for this mission, or at least 8 individuals that we see before the dropship scene. There are some new agents and new names mentioned as well. We're introduced to Singh, Kimiko, Mirembe, and the latter two, Kimiko and Mirembe, I don't know what you think about these two pictures. They might be slight matches in the actual agents list that we see at the end of Recall, when Winston is trying to recall Overwatch agents. What do you reckon? Kimiko and Mirembe here? Be good to hear your thoughts. Another 2 people who are named are Bayless and Al Farouk. Sadly, they're the kind of red shirt Star Trek style on this mission, getting picked off by Widowmaker, we assume, as the Overwatch team try to escape with the hostages. The other interesting thing about this Overwatch setup was that we see Morrison in the field. Now, like Ana Amari and like Reinhardt, we see him operating into his 50s again. Clearly, the older Overwatch team members have a little bit of a problem retiring and letting go. Now, the final thing I found interesting about this comic was the kind of mystery about the LaCroix. It's interesting to see that up until this point in this panel, Ana, or presumably Overwatch, did not know the true fate of Gerard and Amelie. We know from Widowmaker's bio that she was kidnapped by Talon, returned seemingly unharmed, and then, due to the reconditioning she suffered, she killed Gerard in his sleep a couple of nights later. Here we see that Ana believes that Amelie was actually kidnapped after her husband's murder, so therefore Overwatch probably didn't truly know what happened here. In this panel it says, "We thought she was dead." The immense realisation that Ana has that Amelie must have killed Gerard, along with the fact that Amelie is now working for Talon, actually comes together, and probably, on top of Ana's combat weariness, gives this moment of hesitation that lets Widowmaker take the return shot before Ana does. We can see that it ruptures Ana's scope and leaves her with the grave wounds, as well as the loss of her right eye that we've seen in her bio and origin trailer already. Finally, a nice little Easter egg that I found. If you take a look on this panel here, you can see Sang. I'm pretty sure that's referring to Arnold Sang, one of the lead artists on Overwatch. So that's kind of a nice little reference by the comic book person there, I would assume, rather than Sang be a company or a brand. Pretty cool. Thanks very much for tuning in to this quick analysis of Overwatch's Ana digital comic. If you like this video, please hit that like button below, subscribe, comment with what Overwatch map, world or character story you'd like to see covered next. I really appreciate hearing what you all think. I do a regular series of Overwatch hero interactions and voice lines, Easter eggs and map lore, as well as Lore Bites, a series that breaks down Overwatch lore in quick, easy to explain videos. Do check them out, the links are all here. Till next time, I've been Hammeh, take it easy.